So this is this is the hive that we left with queen cells in it. So we will have a little butcher's, see what we can see. It has been a few weeks. There's a lot of ants. Don't know why we have so many ants. Ants are always going to be troublesome this time of year. You know, they're after the, well, they're not after the honey, but obviously they can smell the sweet smell of honey. So let's have a little look. So we could potentially shuffle some of these around. These are our cut comb frames. 3 on the outside. That one's very nice. The steel working on that. It's just not really doing what I want them to do though, and this is the unfortunate thing. They're not up here. Certainly in the one below, it might be that we have to shift them around. It's full of nectar. Combing it out and slightly. There's just not a lot changed in that since we last done our inspection, which is slightly annoying because it's running, you know, they just don't seem to be wanting to work with me this year with the honey, but I've had a lot going on with splits and so forth. This is the only super on this hive. I'll say we have had quite a bit going on. It's whether we have a queen in here now, this is the question. If we do have a virgin queen in this, it's going to be very hard to spot. As we all know, it'd be lovely if I come across the mated queen. Really would. We'll move that one aside and let's have a little look, see what we can find. It'd be nice if we could find some fresh larvae. That would be a telltale sign. I do struggle with trying to find eggs. My eyes are not up to it nowadays. But and that looks to me like that's cat brood there. So that is a telltale sign that we may well have our mated queen in there at long last. So we're going to really keep our eyes peeled now to see what we can find in conjunction with an unmarked queen. It would be really nice if we come across one straight away. Full concentration on this now, because queens do get tricky to spot. Again, if we had some fresh larvae, I'm sure that's a bit of cat brood there. I'm pretty sure that's not from the last episode that we had. I'm not 100% sure. I'll keep soldering through anyway. Not only am I looking for some kind of fresh queen, virgin queen, we are looking to see if there's any sign of brood. Now, that there looks to me like another queen cell. So that is certainly a queen cell there. So that's very strange. That is very strange. Well, we've had, which looks like a queen cell that's emerged there. I do believe I've had no swarm from this. If we come across the queen in any way or form, then we will lose that queen cup that we've just seen. But that is the queen cup that we originally had right there, which is open. I'm going to take that off. And we're going to see if we can find any signs of potentially a virgin queen in here, because that's opened. There's quite a number of bees in here, so that's definitely a merged queen cup. Does that look like larvae there? No, it's pollen stores. Okay, so carry on. And I was under the impression I left one queen cell in here, so we do have another one there. Which has emerged, and I'm sure that was the one that we left originally. So do we see any signs of a queen? That's the question. At the moment we don't. But that was the queen cell that we had originally left on here. So we're going to take that off. As it is empty. There's some clay cups here. And that just seems to be all capped honey on there. So I'm not seeing Any signs of a new queen as such. So we've not come across anything in there. We do have a large number of bees in this hive. We have a queen cell that's still to emerge, so let's have a look in the brood box below. It's really stuck together. Really stuck that. So let's have a little look. I'm going to put the crown board on that for the time being. There's some empty frames still. As you see, I feel like I've had a year of swarms and moving hives and stuff around. It's really kind of put things on a setback for me this year, with certainly one of the hives, if not two of the hives. There's nothing I can see on there. But they build queen cells so quick, and this is what's frustrating, because I left one in here and that one's emerged, and we seem to have another. There's no signs of any laying, so yeah, slightly confused. Virgin queens, as we know, are very hard to spot. Okay, so not a lot going on. And there's a queen cell there, so what we'll do is, and that one is just about to merge, because it does have a brown tip on it, so if we can get this in shot of our camera, just there is a queen cell that is about to merge. 100% is about to merge. So that one is like a supersedure cell, emergency cell. We're going to take that other one out because that one is the one that we're going to want, because that is very much ready, like literally. Placing that in there nice and gently that we don't damage that now. Making sure there's no more on here. More to the point, making sure there's no sign of any other queen. And that there looks like a queen cell too. It's in a pretty awkward place. Anything with, so we're going to place this down. Well, it certainly doesn't look like a queen to me, but I'm not so sure what that was. But we certainly want to leave this with one queen cell. We still have cat brood, drone brood from the previous queen. There's no sign of any laying or any other kind of queen cell. Oh dear, there is another one just there. So yeah, there's been a lot going on in this hive. I'm glad I went into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove that, and I do have beekeeper that may well be interested in this, so we're going to take that off of there nice and gently. Hopefully we haven't damaged the queen in that. We're going to have a little look, because it seems like we've had a lot going on in this hive. There is another one that is uncapped, so we've had a lot going on. Two that's uncapped, but we certainly haven't had any swarms. Not that I'm aware of anyway. Okay, so very strange. We do now need to just find that queen cell that we want to keep. That's the one we want to keep there. So that, what they're huddling there, is a cell that is just about to open with the brown end. Surprised I can't hear that queen piping. I could potentially let her out of there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave them to do that themselves. I'm sure I see one other. So we now need to make sure we only leave that one in this hive. I think the other might well have been on the super frame. Oh, yeah, be under my finger. Just making sure there's no more queen cells. It's ready to emerge. In this hive. Just done one last check on this one here. Okay, so smoke them down. Just so I can get this other box on the top. Just so we don't squash any bees in the process. I'm going to put that onto there. And I'm sure I saw a queen cell in this one. So we're going to have a proper look. Want a brood and a half, then I don't want no. So this is cat brood on it, and this is what I'm struggling with, because this must be cat brood that was left from the previous queen. It must have been. So that's our other queen cell that we need to remove at this moment in time, because we do have the other one in there. So although that we've taken that off, there is actually nothing inside that. So we're going to have a proper look. Sort my gloves out. There is, but it's like a larvae of a queen. So that was in the stages. That was in its stages, so just shake them off and just have a better look. What's actually going on? Because we do now need to make sure we're leaving that one queen cell that's just about to merge in this hive. What I might do is actually swap some of these around and salvage some of these honey ones. Although, again, that's cat brood on there. It's just pure honey stalls on there. We'll swap that one around. So we're going to keep a good eye on this one now. I can't do much with this one because my other super down there is the honeycomb in it, so becomes a little bit tricky. Okay, so that was only a short video today, so literally I turned the camera off and I've done a little bit more. Maybe I should have kept it running, but reiterate where we're at. So we went through this hive. Everything's good in there, seems to be how it needs to be. Queen's laying, so that only now is going to make that progressively better with the successful merge. Slightly confused with this one. We did leave a relatively big queen cell and we did take down others. On inspection on that, we come across, I do believe, 3 queen cells, and we also come across a queen cell that had been capped off and had merged. So we've had no swarm, not that I know of, and the numbers are still relatively high in that hive. So I'm slightly confused with it, if you like. What I did do after I switched the camera off, I took down one of the queen cells, which I do believe is here. So we took down one of the queen cells and we had a look in it, and as it was only a queen in the larvae state. We had one queen cell that had the brown end on that was ready literally hours to emerge, and we had another queen cell. So what I'd done was I wanted to leave them with one, so I took the queen cell down, put it on there on the other hive, and then I thought, you know what, let's open it up, let's get the queen out of there. So I did record it on my phone, so we're going to add this to this video. You've come across it already. And the virgin queen, we released her and I put her into a little cage. Kept her to the side for a minute. So lessons learned of what I've done previously. So we put her to the side and then we went back through that hive, checking there was no more queen cells. And I thought, well, before I do any more with that queen, give her away or do whatever, let's check the other queen cell, i.e. she's ready to come out, let's release her ourselves. So what I'd done, I pulled the queen cell off, released that virgin queen. She was there, she was fine, good as glory. We released her, we let her in on the frames, and then we closed that hive straight back up. So we know now that there's no more queen cells in that hive, and we have let a virgin queen go into the frames, and she was good and healthy. Now with the second queen, what do I do with her? Didn't know what to do with her. I did put on one of my bee groups. Anyone want a queen that's just emerged from her queen cell, which is actually in here. So what I'd done was, for the time being, even if someone says that you're happy to take that queen, rather than do what with her, put her in the house and potentially watch her slowly die, I still had some bees in this nuke box from previously when we done the merge. So what I thought I would do is, and there she is there, let me bring the camera over and I'll show you what we've actually done with this queen. So, I'm not sure if we can see that she was on the top just then. So what I've done is, she's now moved, but I've basically put that queen that was in that queen cell there in with these bees here, and obviously they was really happy to see her. Now she has moved. She was literally, as I was speaking and looked in there, she was on the top there. I've also added one frame of stalls into this hive, and I've also added into this nuke box rather, and I've also added some just a little bit of sugar syrup. Now, if what I've done keeps this queen alive, then I'll be a happy man. These bees are lovely to see her. They're over the moon to see her. And there is a handful of bees in this little nuke box. I've also added some more bees that was also on the frame stalls in there. I'll keep the camera here because she may well come back up. Obviously what we do need to be vigilant of is they don't do what that one's done there and fall down there and get stuck in the sugar syrup. But I have only just put a small amount of sugar syrup in it, and there is the queen there. There she is, as you can see. That is her. So hopefully she don't get stuck in any of the sugar syrup down the bottom. There is only a small amount in there. So they can feed her, if nothing else, sugar syrup and keep her alive. There she is, right there. It may well be that she goes out and gets mated and comes back to this hive. Then I'll have a mated queen. I could potentially sell that queen or even use her myself. So rather than her go to waste, get killed or whatever, it's something that nothing. So we have a frame of stalls, brood frame, with some bees, and there was only a handful of bees on it. There was a handful of bees in here anyway. A little bit of 101 sugar syrup. See if we can keep this bee alive, this queen bee alive. The other bees are happy to see her. And who knows, let's give it 10 days. It's trial and error. She may well go out and get mated and come back to this nuke box. If she does, yes, I've got a mated queen. Potentially sell her, keep her for my own use. Who knows what's going to happen? That could swarm and I could lose that queen forevermore. So I don't know. This is something that I've never done and we're going to give it a go. So I did put on the bee group, did somebody want her? But what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to trial and error this one. I'm going to see if they keep her alive. I'm going to see if she goes out, gets mated and comes back. One, if that queen, virgin queen in that hive, goes out and does what this virgin queen done in this hive and don't come back, we've got a backup. Let's give it a go, eh? So until next time, ciao for now.